Butcher as the final boss, the genocidal endgame. Billy Butcher isn't hunting Homelander. He's hunting every single Supe on the planet, and your favorite characters are already on his kill list. In Garth Ennis's comics, after Homelander dies, Butcher doesn't celebrate. He executes Mother's Milk point blank, then Frenchie, then Kimiko, all to guarantee his anti-Supe virus spreads globally without interference. The show's been telegraphing this since Season 1 and we missed it. Season 4's tumor isn't just cancer, it's Joe Kessler, manifesting as physical tentacles in the December 2025 trailer. But here's what Vought doesn't want you noticing. Those tentacles move independently. They attack when Butcher hesitates. Fans diving frame by frame caught something horrifying. Kessler's voice syncs with the tentacle strikes, not Butcher's facial expressions. The theory claims Kessler isn't psychological anymore. He's a separate entity piloting Butcher's body toward one destination, total Supe extinction. Rewatch Season 3, Episode 6. When Butcher tells Hughie, "I'll do whatever it takes," his pupil dilation doesn't match emotional stress patterns. It matches deception. The comic precedent isn't theory, it's canon blueprint. Season 5 is building toward Hughie facing an impossible choice. Kill the man who saved him or watch him murder thousands. The inversion is complete. The super killer becomes the monster and the kid from the electronics store becomes the last line of defense against genocide. Ryan's blood, the virus, stabilization. Ryan Butcher isn't Homelander's son. He's a biological weapon that both sides are fighting to harvest. The virus from Gen V can kill Supes, but it's unstable. Sometimes it works, sometimes it fails spectacularly. Scientists need one thing to perfect it: organic compound V integration from conception, not injection. Ryan is the only naturally born Supe in existence. His DNA isn't corrupted by post-birth V injection trauma. It's seamless cellular-level integration that makes his blood the stabilization agent for airborne deployment. Season 4 buries this in medical jargon, but Dr. Park's lab notes, shown for exactly 3 seconds in Episode 5, reference naturally occurring V gene markers with Ryan's patient file visible in the background. Vought knows. Butcher knows. The theory gets darker. Butcher's Season 4 obsession with protecting Ryan isn't paternal. It's tactical. He needs Ryan alive until the virus is ready, then his blood becomes the final ingredient. Some theorists caught something in the Season 5 teaser that Amazon edited out of later versions, a single frame showing Ryan in a medical chair with IV lines. The most tragic version of this theory, Ryan kills Homelander not in combat, but with an embrace. A hug that delivers the perfected virus directly into his father's bloodstream. The Judas kiss for the superhero age. Love weaponized into extinction. The marketing keeps Ryan isolated for a reason. He's not choosing sides. He's the prize both sides are dying to claim. Mr. Marathon, the supernatural reunion massacre. Jared Padalecki isn't making a cameo. He's playing Vought's extermination protocol, and Jensen Ackles is the target. Episode 5 casting leaked months ago. Padalecki as Mr. Marathon, the original 7 Speedster A-Train replaced in 2001. But set photos tell a different story. Marathon isn't wearing a costume. He's in tactical gear with anti-Supe weaponry designed specifically for close-quarters execution. The theory claims Vought hired Marathon as a corporate cleaner. Eliminate legacy Supes who know where the bodies are buried. Soldier Boy tops that list. He remembers Frederick Vogt. He knows about the Nazi labs. He's a walking liability with nuclear-level blackmail potential. The supernatural reunion everyone's expecting? It's the assassination attempt disguised as nostalgia. And production insiders report the fight scene took 6 days to film with extensive wire work, meaning it's not a quick scuffle. It's a prolonged, brutal sequence where Marathon speed counters Soldier Boy's radiation blast charge time. Padalecki's Instagram post from set called it the hardest scene I've ever filmed emotionally, which doesn't match a fun team-up. The meta-commentary cuts deep, using real-world friendship between actors to make fictional betrayal devastating. Marathon represents corporate weaponization of everything, including your childhood memories of 2 actors who built a career on brotherhood. The theory suggests Marathon fails but mortally wounds Soldier Boy, forcing a Season 5 choice: die human or take Compound 5 again and lose himself completely. Stan Edgar's master plan, the controlled demolition. Stan Edgar never lost anything. The hearings, the arrest, Homelander's takeover. Every disaster was orchestrated demolition to pivot Vought from superhero liability into pharmaceutical empire. Rewatch his Season 3 confrontation with Homelander. You are bad product, not a bad person, not a bad superhero. Bad product. Corporate terminology for inventory depreciation. Edgar didn't say that in anger. He said it with the flat affect of someone discussing quarterly earnings. The theory claims Edgar tanked Vought's hero division deliberately, letting Homelander publicly destroy brand value while Edgar consolidated pharmaceutical patents and defense contracts behind the scenes. Season 4 shows him in prison, but he's still taking calls, still commanding resources, still moving pieces. And his network didn't collapse, it went underground. Here's what the show won't say directly. Edgar has a biological kill switch programmed into Compound V itself, a fail-safe molecule that triggers cardiac arrest in anyone with V-altered DNA when activated remotely. The evidence is in Season 2, Episode 3. Background shot of Vought Lab whiteboard showing molecular diagrams with a red section labeled Emergency Protocol Termination Sequence. It's on screen for 4 seconds. No one caught it. If Supe's become more expensive than profitable, Edgar doesn't negotiate. He executes the shutdown. Every powered individual globally experiences simultaneous heart failure. The theory explains his complete fearlessness facing Homelander. He's always held the detonator. Hughie's permanent V transformation. The accidental Supe. Hughie Campbell is a Supe now. He just doesn't know it yet, and neither does the audience. Temp V in Season 3 didn't give temporary powers, it rewrote his DNA permanently at low levels. Watch Season 4 combat scenes frame by frame. Episode 2. Hughie dodges a punch with reaction speed 47% faster than his Season 1 baseline. Episode 5. He recovers from a concussion in hours, not days. Episode 7. He teleports 3 feet backward when startled, then dismisses it as adrenaline. The show is gaslighting us alongside Hughie. Medical studies in-universe establish V24 causes permanent genetic mutations even after discontinuation, but no one's tested Hughie post-Season 3. The comics give all boys members Compound 5 to fight Supes equally, and the show avoided this to keep Hughie as audience surrogate, the normal guy in superhuman chaos. But Season 5 might reveal that surrogate is dead. Hughie has been physiologically Supe since mid-Season 3, fighting his own kind while believing he's still human. The horror isn't powers, it's identity death. He joined this war because A-Train killed Robin, because Supes were dangerous others who needed stopping. But if he's been Supe for 2 years, what does his moral crusade mean? Was he fighting for justice or just another powered individual eliminating competition? The theory suggests Season 5's emotional core, Hughie discovering he can never be human again, and his choice between accepting power or finding some way to burn the V out of his cells, even if it kills him. The boys as true villains. The moral inversion. We've been cheering for terrorists, and Season 5 is going to make us confront that. From any objective legal perspective, the boys are domestic extremists. They've murdered security guards, tortured corporate employees, destroyed billions in property, and blackmailed government officials. Butcher's body count includes people whose only crime was working reception at Vought Tower. The show makes this palatable by positioning Homelander as cartoonishly evil. Any action against him feels justified. But Garth Ennis's comics deliberately reject clear heroes and villains. Everyone is corrupted by power and certainty. Season 5's Endgame theory. Public perspective shift. If Butcher releases the virus, killing thousands of Supes, including children at Godolkin, non-combatant celebrities, and people who've never hurt anyone, suddenly the boys become genocidal maniacs, and Homelander's authoritarian response to protect his species becomes the defensive position. The evidence is already planted. Season 4 increased focus on Supe rights protests, political movements advocating for powered individuals, civilian Supes living normal lives. The show is building public sympathy for the group the boys want to exterminate. The ultimate satire, forcing the audience to recognize we've been cheering for ethnic cleansing all along because the targets had powers. Homelander commits individual murders. Butcher is planning species extinction. Who's the real monster? The theory claims Season 5 ends with the boys designated as terrorists by international law, while Homelander is posthumously remembered as a civil rights martyr. The inversion complete. The Deep's hidden mind control. The psychic puppet. The Deep isn't stupid. He's being piloted and the controller is still hidden. Every bizarre decision from Season 2 forward, joining the collective, the increasingly erratic public behavior, self-destructive political alliances, isn't character inconsistency. It's different instructions being downloaded into a psychic puppet. The Deep's ocean telepathy works both ways. If he can project into sea creature minds, someone with stronger psychic abilities can project into his. The theory points to the collective cult from Season 3. It wasn't spiritual searching, it was installation of remote control infrastructure. Season 4's Deep makes decisions that serve zero personal benefit and actively harm him, suggesting external override of his decision-making. The comics portray him as pure comic relief, but the show added his telepathy specifically, and Chekhov's gun says unused powers must fire eventually. Here's the frame everyone missed. Season 4, Episode 4, when Deep talks to the octopus, his eyes go completely black for 0.3 seconds before returning to normal. Blink and you miss it, but slow it down. His pupil doesn't dilate, it vanishes. The theory's darkest version, the Deep gets activated in Season 5 during a moment of apparent redemption, assassinating a major character, revealing his entire pathetic persona was manufactured cover for a sleeper agent. He's been someone else's weapon aimed at the Seven from inside the whole time. The question isn't who controls him, it's whether any part of the real Deep even exists anymore. Alright, we're halfway through, and if you're still here, you're already seeing connections the casual fans missed. But here's the thing, theory number 11 is so perfectly buried in the comics that when I show you the frame-by-frame evidence, you're going to lose your mind. Before we get there, do me a favor. Drop a comment right now with which theory you think is 100% confirmed. Comic readers, tell me which one the showrunners are too scared to actually film. I'm reading everything. Black Noir, clone revelation, the Homelander duplicate. The new Black Noir isn't a replacement. He's the weapon Vought created to kill Homelander, and he's been activated. In the comics, Black Noir is a Homelander clone programmed as a failsafe. If the original goes rogue, release the copy. But the clone went insane from decades of waiting and committed atrocities while disguised as Homelander to force the confrontation he was designed for. Season 3 killed original Noir, and everyone assumed the show abandoned this plot. Wrong, they delayed it. The new Noir introduced in Season 4 has no backstory, no civilian identity, perfect combat skills, and complete silence. Season 4 deliberately never shows his face or explains who he is. Production leaks from Season 5 include lab flashback sequences and Noir in medical settings, and suggesting origin reveal. The theory claims new Noir has been physiologically identical to Homelander since introduction, with powers suppressed through chemical inhibitors until Vought needs the kill switch. Watch Ashley's micro-expressions around Noir in Season 4. She's terrified of him specifically, more than Homelander. She knows what he is. Set photos show Noir's suit damaged in Season 5 with what appears to be eye blast burns, identical to Homelander's heat vision pattern, meaning they finally fight. The clone twist provides the perfect corporate irony. Homelander defeated not by human resistance but by Vought's backup plan, killed by a superior version of himself, proving he was always just product with a built-in expiration date. Ryan kills Homelander, the Skywalker Patricide. Ryan Butcher is going to murder his own father, and it won't be heroic. Season 4 positioned Ryan at a moral crossroads after watching Homelander execute protesters. The theory claims Season 5 features a time jump. Ryan aged up significantly, having spent years processing his father's escalating atrocities. Marketing materials show teenage Ryan isolated and wearing darker costumes, suggesting dissent rather than heroism. The setup is Skywalker Vader parallel except without redemption. Ryan recognizes Homelander can't be reasoned with or saved, only stopped. As a second-generation natural birth, Ryan potentially exceeds his father's power ceiling. The comics kill Homelander in massive combat, but the show established Ryan as the only individual powerful enough to do it alone. I'm the emotional weight. Ryan choosing between two fathers, Homelander offering power and belonging, versus Butcher representing humanity and moral limits. The theory's darkest version, Ryan doesn't kill Homelander in battle. He does it during vulnerability, perhaps one of Homelander's psychological breakdowns when he's seeking comfort. A mercy killing rather than execution, making it patricide motivated by love instead of hate. This parallels Homelander murdering his own creator figures, completing a generational cycle of sons, destroying fathers who failed them. Ryan becomes the thing he feared most, a killer, by stopping someone worse. The final shot theory, Ryan standing over his father's body, realizing he's now the most powerful being on Earth with no idea what that responsibility means. The virus Endgame, mass Supe Extinction Butcher, isn't planning containment. He's planning genocide, and Season 5 ends with airborne extinction of every Compound 5 carrier globally. The virus from Gen V isn't side plot. It's the finale's weapon of mass destruction. Godolkin University developed a biological agent targeting the V genome specifically, capable of airborne transmission. Season 4 showed multiple factions trying to obtain or destroy samples, establishing it as ultimate leverage. The theory claims Butcher deploys it globally in Season 5's climax, killing every enhanced individual simultaneously. Combatants and non-combatants, adults and children at Godolkin, celebrities, heroes, villains, and his own team members with permanent V in their systems. This isn't victory. It's species-level extermination justified as necessary evil. The comics end with wholesale slaughter, but the show could make it systematically horrifying. Virus spreading in real time across live news broadcasts, famous Supes dying on camera, parents watching their powered children collapse, emergency rooms overwhelmed with thousands dying from identical symptoms within minutes. The moral calculus collapses. The boys win by becoming worse than their enemies, proving righteous crusades always end in mass murder when taken to logical extremes. The evidence is planted throughout Season 4. Medical discussions about airborne V-targeting pathogens, Butcher's increasing willingness to accept collateral damage, Hughie's horror at where this is heading. The theory claims the final scene shows Butcher watching global death tolls climb into 6 figures, realizing he's killed more people than Homelander ever did, and the question the show leaves unanswered. Was it worth it? Homelander's fake humanity, the performance art monster. Every vulnerable moment Homelander has shown is calculated theater performed by someone studying humanity from outside. The therapy sessions, the Ryan bonding, the emotional breakdowns, all performance art by a psychopath who learned early that selective vulnerability grants access to people's emotions, which he weaponizes strategically. Season 3's mirror conversations where he talks to himself in third person aren't instability. They're an actor reviewing his performance, critiquing which emotional displays worked and which need adjustment. The theory claims Homelander is fully aware he's incapable of genuine emotion and has been methodically studying human behavior his entire life to construct a convincing mask. His relationship with Madeline Stillwell wasn't maternal need. It was studied manipulation of her maternal instincts for corporate advancement. When he kills her, watch his face frame by frame. There's no rage, there's relief at completing a task, like deleting an outdated file. Anthony Starr's micro-expressions throughout the series don't match stated emotions, suggesting conscious performance rather than authentic feeling. The darkest implication? Homelander has been orchestrating his own downfall since Season 1 to achieve martyrdom status. He's not losing control. He's directing a tragedy where he becomes a symbol that outlives his physical death. The theory points to Season 4 moments where Homelander seems to predict opposition responses with impossible accuracy, suggesting he's been several moves ahead the entire time. Like Season 5 might reveal he wanted to die as a martyr for Supe supremacy, making himself an unkillable idea rather than a mortal person. The biggest twist would be discovering the bumbling villain was running circles around everyone. Compound V origins. The Nazi weapon. Compound V wasn't created as superhero serum. It was designed as Nazi eugenic bioweapon for creating an Aryan master race, and modern Vought has been covering up these genocidal origins for 8 decades. Frederick Vought arrived in America through Operation Paperclip, alongside real Nazi scientists like Werner von Braun. The show establishes this historical fact, but softens the implications. The theory claims original Compound 5 included racial genetic targeting, designed to enhance specific ethnic groups while sterilizing or killing others. Modern Vought supposedly refined the formula to remove discriminatory elements, but the theory argues they just made them less obvious, not eliminated. Season 4's increased focus on Supe supremacy movements and racial politics among powered individuals represents these eugenic roots resurfacing. Stormfront's Season 2 ideology wasn't aberration. It was returned to Compound 5's original purpose. Documents from Frederick Vought's original laboratories might reveal every Supe created in 80 years has been part of long-term genetic experiment in directed human evolution. Homelander isn't a failed product. He's a successful one, the perfected Aryan Superman his Nazi creator always intended, just rebranded for American consumption. The theory examines why so many high-profile Supes are white, why diversity in the Seven is recent corporate initiative rather than natural occurrence, why Compound V's early test subjects were predominantly minorities who died in horrific experiments. And Season 5 might reveal that corporate sanitization of fascist science doesn't eliminate evil. It just rebrands it for profit, and every superhero for 80 years has been a Nazi experiment's descendant, whether they know it or not. The Gen V crossover war, the Youth Uprising season. 5 features full Gen V crossover but not as allies. The Godolkin students wage war against both the boys and the Seven, rejecting corporate control and human supremacy equally. Marie Moreau, Jordan Lee, and their generation have been radicalized by discovering Vought's experimentation on Supe children and the Wood's existence. They distrust all adult authority on both sides. The theory claims Gen V characters see Butcher's virus as attempted genocide against their generation, and Homelander's fascism as boomer Supe authoritarianism. They position themselves as revolutionary youth rejecting false choices between equally corrupt power structures. Season 4's finale gave Gen V characters critical information about both the virus and Homelander's plans simultaneously, setting up three-way conflict. Marketing materials show young Supes in combat against traditional heroes, and the boys' members. Not two-sided war, but triangular battle. Showrunner Eric Kripke stated Gen V characters have major roles in the finale, not cameos, suggesting substantial impact on outcome. The thematic brilliance mirrors real-world generational conflicts where young people reject compromised options from older generations. Gen V characters represent the future refusing to accept the present's failures. They've been experimented on, lied to, and manipulated by both Vought and anti-Supe extremists. Their response: burn both houses down and build something new. The theory suggests Season 5's final battle is three-faction war: corporate Supes, anti-Supe terrorists, and revolutionary youth, with no clear victors, because the youth aren't fighting for control, they're fighting for complete system demolition. A-Train's redemption. Sacrifice the speed. Death A-Train's arc isn't building toward redemption, it's building toward sacrificial death using his rebuilt heart for one final run he knows will kill him. Season 4 extensively foreshadowed his heart weakness. Multiple scenes of doctors warning another full-speed run causes cardiac failure. Chekhov's gun principle demands this setup pays off. The theory claims A-Train saves Hughie's life specifically by using super speed despite knowing his heart will explode, completing redemption arc through the same power that began his villainy. The emotional impact maximizes by having him die, saving the person most hurt by his past actions. Robin's boyfriend. Hughie would be forced to reconcile years of hatred with the reality that A-Train chose genuine heroism when it mattered most. Jesse T. Usher's interviews about A-Train, finally understanding what heroism costs, suggest self-sacrifice rather than survival. The narrative purpose. Removing a character who completed his arc to make room for new conflicts in the final season. The setup is classical superhero sacrifice, fastest man alive giving his last run to save another. But in the boys' universe, it's undercut by the fact that it required years of selfishness, cowardice, and murder to get here. The theory's specific scenario: Hughie trapped with seconds until death, A-Train choosing to run him to safety despite alarms blaring in his chest, and the final shot being A-Train's heart monitor flatline after Hughie is safe. Redemption purchased with death, proving that in this universe, being a hero costs everything and saves only one. Sister Sage's true allegiance. The Omniscient Manipulator. Sister Sage isn't loyal to Homelander. She's using him as a tool to achieve her own endgame that serves neither humans nor Supes. As the smartest person on Earth, Sage operates several moves ahead of everyone, and the theory claims her Season 4 assistance to Homelander is deliberately accelerating his downfall while positioning herself as architect of whatever emerges next. Evidence includes her knowing smiles during Homelander's outbursts and careful documentation of all events, suggesting she's building a case for future use. Sage recognizes Homelander as unstable and unsustainable, but also sees the boys' approach as ineffective and morally bankrupt. And her true goal might be creating entirely new systems, genuine superhuman integration, or technocratic society, ruled by intelligence rather than power, with herself as architect. Some versions suggest Sage works with Stan Edgar, the smartest person alliance that supersedes the Supe versus human binary. Her ability to predict outcomes means she could be orchestrating virus release, Homelander's death, and the boys' destruction simultaneously to clear the board for whatever she's actually building. Season 4 shows Sage making moves that benefit no visible faction, suggesting third option strategy no one else sees yet. The theory claims she's been feeding Homelander specific information designed to make him act in ways that destabilize both Vought and anti-Supe movements. Season 5 reveals she's the puppet master all along, making every other character's agency an illusion, created by someone who can calculate human behavior with mathematical precision. The final twist. Sage wins not through power, but through making everyone else destroy each other, while she builds the new world from the ashes. So there it is. 15 theories that turn the boys from superhero parody into something way darker. Now here's your homework. Go back and rewatch Season 4, Episode 6. Pause at exactly 23 minutes and 14 seconds. Look at the wall behind Butcher and Kessler. There's a partially visible Vought memo that says, Project Jonghyun. That's Japanese for the end. It's on screen for less than 2 seconds, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Season 5 drops April 8th, 2026. The final season, the last chance to get this right or wrong. I'll be breaking down every episode the second it releases. Subscribe so you don't miss the finale breakdown, and seriously, comment below with your prediction. Which character dies first and which theory comes true? Let's see who actually called it.